What's going on, YouTube? We back with another reaction video. Today's gonna be a little bit more serious than usual. We're gonna be reacting to "I'm 40, I Wasted My Life. Don't make the same mistake." This video is by Dad Mode and Dark Mode. A little different name, but hey. But yeah, I've seen this video. You know, usually when we watch these videos, I never seen it. We're watching it together. But this video I had seen a while back, and I was thinking today, I was like, dang, this would be a good video. I know I haven't done one of the more serious videos in a while, but this video here is very interesting just to see what not to do in life. Because I looked at it and you see a lot of people out here telling you what to do, what I did right, but a lot of people that did bad or didn't do as good as they wanted to in life don't really come up and talk about it, or they just kind of whine. You know what I'm saying? They'll beg people for stuff. He's actually telling you what not to do, like a step by step of what not to do with your life. So I thought it would be an interesting video. I'm gonna stop yapping and we're gonna get right into it.
I'm 40 and I wasted my life. I've got nothing to show for it. No house, no savings, no career that I'm proud of. I'm pouring everything that I have into this channel because I've got nothing else. And if you're in your 20s or even your early 30s and you think you've got time, I'm telling you right now, you don't.
See, and that's this first thing that he said right here about this video is like what really made me want to watch it, because when he said you don't have time, that really, because he's already 40, he's saying you don't have these things that a lot of people want to have by 40, and he's saying that he wished basically he didn't waste his time throughout his time in his 20s and 30s to be able to do these things later on in life. So for y'all, start thinking about that as you're younger, you know.
I wish I had someone in my life when I was younger, someone who actually cared enough about me and was smart enough to show me how life really worked, how women really operated, and what I actually needed to focus on. I didn't have that. I was getting all of my ideas about love and success and women from movies and idiots my own age who didn't know anything at all. So there was no sense of urgency, no perspective, just just vibes and dumb plans, and this fantasy that everything would somehow work itself out, and it didn't. In my 20s,
One thing about him that's interesting is he's kind of putting it off on other people, which, yes, I can agree. There's not always going to be people that come and tell you everything that's going to be willing to help. But at a certain point, like if you can kind of have an idea that what you got going on is not what you want to be doing later on in life, you should start going in on yourself and doing your own research on, okay, the people that's kind of doing what I want to do, what are they doing? Or the people that's not doing what I want to do, what are they doing? And this can be kind of iffy because a lot of people look at these role models and stuff and want to be like them, which is cool. If that's what you want to do with your life, that's fine. But you also have to be willing to have a consequence like he did of it not working out, and now you look like that. But on the flip side, you could look at somebody who did it maybe an easier path, a more laid out path, and it'll get you there a lot faster and a lot more secure. Because whatever he was doing obviously was not going to get him where he wanted unless something major happened in his life, like maybe he became a singer or something. And I think he talks about that later on in this video. But yeah, like you got to be willing to go out and find this information for yourself. And I know I'm yapping a lot in this video, but that's the whole point. I just want to break this down, what he's saying. So
I thought I was, super deep and cool, and because I had tattoos and I knew some obscure bands and played drums, and I thought being different was a personality. I wasn't building anything real. I was just chasing sex and novelty, hooking up with women because I was addicted to the high, not the connection, just the rush. I spent more time crushing on church girls who didn't like me, and hanging out at coffee shops and smoking cigarettes, drinking lattes, and going to hardcore shows. I did more of that than I did doing anything that would help me long term. I mean, at 23, I was playing ding dong ditch with my friends.
now, obvious, they'll be doing that. Ding Dong Ditch at 23 is kind of absurd, insane. People walking around with poles and everything else that'll take you up out of here. Please don't be walking up to people's doors and running off. And cut that out. That's childish, especially at the ripe age of 23. So if I see a 23-year-old man playing around your door at nighttime or something, you got your family here. What you gonna do? You going to get that pole. You're not playing around. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what he on, what they got. So just be safe. Just be safe. And I'm not trying to act like no tough guy, but that's just normal reaction. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I was 13 again, thinking it was hilarious, which it was. But fun times. But I wasted so many hours just trying to get, validation from people who didn't care if I lived or died at the end of the day. I thought my life was meaningful because it looked cool in photos, looked cool on MySpace. But, all I was doing was burning through the most valuable years of my life. The years where I had the most energy, the most flexibility, and the most time to build something meaningful. Nobody told me I was wasting it. Nobody. And when the world sees you drifting, it doesn't intervene. It just keeps feeding you distraction after distraction, lie after lie, while profiting off of your blindness and ignorance. And then fast forward into my late 20s, then I got into a relationship that wrecked my life. She got pregnant and everything changed.
That's another one, y'all. Be careful who y'all with, man. Like how he was saying earlier, he said he did get a relationship, so he might have settled down a little bit. But being out here chasing that high women, man, it's not good. Because you're going to end up doing something like what he did, getting the wrong one pregnant. And then that's attached for you for at least 18 years. If you want to be a present father, which you should be. But that one mistake right there, that can mess you up for the rest of your life. Like if you get the wrong one pregnant, what you going to do? You at her, whatever she say, basically. Because the courts usually give the woman the baby, all this type of stuff. And you got to deal with this person for the next 18 years, no matter what you try to do with your life. If you want to be a present father, And then that child support, that's another thing that's in the play there. Like, could you imagine making good money and you giving up $5,000 a month of your money because you got to pay for this child, even though you're being present, but it's the government said you owe us this money because you make this. You don't want to be in that situation, so be careful with that.
And I love my son. I would never undo that. But that relationship, it was a disaster. I did not know how to choose wisely at all. I confused chaos and passion and intensity with love because no one ever taught me the difference. I thought it was normal for things to be dramatic and unpredictable. I thought that meant we were meant to be or something. I don't know. But I don't know what was going on, but instead I ended up in family court fighting for time with my own son, treated like an intruder and a criminal for wanting to be a father. And then in my 30s, my 30s weren't the best years of my life. You hear that a lot. Your 30s will be the best years of your life, 30s and 40s. 30s were a nightmare. I was broke. I was depressed. I was isolated, missing my son constantly, and dealing with games and lies and schemes my ex would pull to destroy the bond between me and my son.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Every wrong decision he made just compounded over time. And it's crazy. Because if you look at the good decisions. He could have been chilling, making his money, doing what he needed to do, stacking it. By the time he get to his 30s, he got more chance to live that dream life that he had, whatever he wanted to be doing at 30. But no, he chose to go out here, play around, buddy outside, people running around Ding Dong Ditch at 23. Like, what do you expect? No slight to him because he did say he didn't have nobody to tell him, but that's what I'm telling y'all. Like, think about these things early because you never know what predicament you're going to be in later. Him having that baby, now he's locked down fighting in the court. There's nothing he can do. Government said no. and you owe us money. The government tell you what is you gonna do? You can keep fighting, but eventually that's costing you money, fighting in the courts. Then you got also pay child. You got all this stuff going on, and that's all because of the decision he made early on. And they just kept compounding. You wasn't doing what you need to do with your money. Broke. You was talking to crazy women, crazy baby mama. Your child support. Now you going to court. Just more decisions. Outside playing around, ding dong ditch, and that's how you gonna end up. You gotta start thinking about this stuff young, because every day you scoping how tomorrow's gonna be, basically.
I wasn't just dealing with grief. I was dealing with a system that didn't care if I disappeared. And yeah, a few times I, in the midst of all that, tried to date again. I finally started to see what I'd been blind to in my 20s. I was no longer that 27-year-old stuck in a 500 days of summer mindset, falling for manic pixie dream girls, just because they like the Shins too.
What is that? Like, in your 20s? Like, that sounds more like some high school stuff. And it's just crazy because you get stuck in this mindset and then you just keep living your days just like that. I feel like it's easy to do when you get older because you just build this routine in your life and it's easy to fall in that cycle. But for him, sound wild and unplanned.
Now I saw the red flags clearly. Girls with baby rabies, daddy issues, manipulation, all of it. I could spot it instantly. I was like a bloodhound for that kind of thing. It's easy to detect now. That's the part that stings the most. Now I'm 40. I hate my job. But it's not just that. I'm disillusioned by the world. Once you see how everything really works, how broken it all is, you cannot unsee it. Everything feels fake. The economy is a scam. Inflation is gutting families. People are more isolated than ever before. No one's honest. No one's fulfilled. And there's a deep apathy baked into everything now. That's why I'm here. This isn't a content hobby for me. This is me refusing to stay silent. This is me using what I have left to build something real, because the clock is ticking. And also, if I die before I can tell my son any of this, before he can know, I mean, he's almost 11, but I want my son to know that his dad didn't just give up, that I fought very hard and went through a lot, and that I bled in silence, that I fought to stay in his life tooth and nail. I fought to become something that he could be proud of, and I fought against a system that was way bigger than myself, that tried to break me. And so this channel, Dad Mode and Dark Mode, is part of that fight. It's my record. It's my time capsule, my legacy. It's my proof.
Yeah, that is sad with his kid though, man, because imagine having a baby and you can't be there for it because somebody else told you can't, and you owe money for that baby, even if you're there trying to be an actual father to it. It's just crazy, man. That's why you got to be careful, for real.
Proof that I didn't just drift off into silence and was just passive. And I hope one day, when he's ready, he'll understand all of this. And so, if you're in your 20s right now and you're listening to this, stop thinking you've got unlimited time. Stop doing it. You don't have unlimited time. You think it's harmless to keep chasing women and wasting money and avoiding responsibility. But one day, you'll wake up and you'll realize you've got no leverage. You've got no power, absolutely no clarity, and no way to get those years back. One day you will wake up and you will be 40.
And that's crazy. I remember I was talking to my one of my girlfriend's family members, something like that. And she looked at me, and it's funny now because I joke about it with my girl because we was both there. And she looked at us and she said, you go to sleep, then you wake up, you're 50. Something like that. Or you close your eyes, open them again, and you're 50. And that just made me think like, damn, time really went by that fast for her. So if it felt that fast, it's like you really got to think of how little time you got. Years, they start moving when you get older. It's crazy. Even like it moves faster now that I'm out of high school and I'm working and doing all the adult things, I guess you could say. And I think most people will agree. Like most people I talk to my age, I'm still only 20. I'll be 21 next year or whatever, but you can already tell it how it can start to move fast just because you're getting that routine so much. So yeah, you got to really, every day you have, take your chance, work on what you need to do, get that done, and keep progressing, man. Because time ain't going to stop. Time ain't going to stop, and the bills is going to keep coming. People going to need from you, especially if you want to be a father one day. Your family going to need from you. Everything. You got to think about all this stuff. And it's like you don't really have no time to waste.
You constantly think about and it just it leaves you with no air in your lungs. This pain, you know it. You know what that pain is when you think about, what once was. But yet every hour you waste now is a debt you're going to have to pay later. You should be building something. Skills, discipline, financial stability, wisdom, a backbone. And if you don't know where to start, I wrote something for you. It's called Dark Mode Protocol. You can find the link in my channel description. I'll leave it in the video description as well. And it's not inspirational fluff. It's not a self-help book. It's a survival guide for men who are sick of being lied to and want to start thinking clearly and acting with purpose.
But yeah, man, it seems like he wrapping it up now. If you're interested, go check out his book or whatever he got going on. Like I said, his channel is Dad Mode and Dark Mode. But yeah, man, like I'm saying, don't waste your time now because you're going to need it later. Because like he was saying, every hour you waste now is a debt. You can have your fun. I have days like that too. It's nothing to take some time off when you know you're still progressing. So you might take a day or two here just to reset and recharge and get right back to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. I'm not saying every day, 7 days a week, I'm on it. I'd be lying if I was to say that. But when people ask about me, they're going to say, oh, yeah, he on his stuff. He doing what he need to get done. He taking care of himself. He taking care of his crib. He taking care of his cars. He doing whatever he got to do. Just keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Like being responsible for what's mine. And that's not to say, like I said, can't take breaks off. I got a trip coming up in December. I can't wait, man. I cannot wait. But just little stuff like that, and then you go enjoy it, and you come back and you get right back to it. It's not to say never have fun, but just be smart when you're doing it. And yeah, and be conscious of who you hanging around. Like he was saying, with this girl that got her pregnant, she was crazy about the whole pregnancy, and now that screwed him up later down in his life. And now he's making videos like this, so it's letting him know, yeah, I actually tried to be there for you, but there's nothing I could really do. So yeah, man, if you young, get on your stuff. That's all I can say. Stop wasting so much time. Enjoy your life while you can, but also be building stuff that you can have that life that you want to have later on. But we finna get out of here, man. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like I said, it was more of a serious video. Last week I missed a couple days because I got copyrighted trying to bring out another paternity court reaction video. It was not letting me post it. I tried everything with that video, but I wanted to make it because one of the best videos I have performing right now is actually one of the older paternity court videos. We recently hit 10 subs, looking to hit 100 soon. So drop a like, subscribe, if you enjoyed the video, which I think it was a good video overall, man. He's just telling you what not to do. Get on your stuff, man. Like I said, man, we out. Please like, comment, and subscribe, y'all.